Good morning traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis, Monday the 8th of July. Alright, in terms of data this week, not a massive amount coming out, but the highlights are New Zealand interest rates decision that happens on Wednesday, and from the US on Thursday we have their inflation numbers. So interesting to see what's happening with inflation around the world and how it may possibly dictate where we are or predict where we might be. So look out for those. I've got everything listed here on the side of me so you can take a look. But let's just get stuck into our analysis, and we'll kick it off this morning with the Aussie US dollar. All right, Aussie US dollar, let me just zoom in. I believe we had a triggered trade. It was one of those a little bit more on the aggressive side, the engulfing candle. Here it is. This was probably from 2 weeks back, if some of you took that one. It did go positive for a while there. It got as positive as this amount in terms of distance. I'll just show it to you. But then it would have got... Oops, my stop out was at that level. So if you stayed in that, you would have been stopped out. So unfortunately, it didn't play out for us. And what has happened now is that we have broken up. So let me just look at that converging triangle now is over. So let me just delete some lines from my chart and let's just reassess the situation, see what's happening right now. The best thing, I'll leave this bottom line there because it's still an old support and it's not broken as yet, so I'll just leave it for myself. But what I can see is the emergence of possibly a new trend. So from here we go up, we've gone down, we've broken a new high. So what we're going to be looking for is looking for a pullback. Once we do see the market pulling back on us, then at that pullback point we are going to look for a reversal. So in other words, from the market to come down into the pullback and then show me a sign that it's going to reverse back in direction of the trend for continuation. So that's a trade that I'm looking for. We're not set yet, but normally a pullback can happen in say 3, 4, 5 candles, so it can come very quickly. What I'll do now is I'll just get rid of that mark because that's finished, and I'll add another mark, and I'm going to put it over here somewhere. And that's just basically reminding me that what I'm looking for is I'm in the trend like this and I'm looking for a pullback. Doesn't have to happen where I've drawn it, but it reminds me that's what I'm looking for. And in that zone somewhere around about there on a pullback, if I do get a really nice price action candle pattern that is showing me a change of direction, then that's what I'm looking for, and then that's my trigger to become a buyer in this market in a trade, which would be a trend following or direction of the trend. Okay, so there you have it. That is my Aussie US dollar for this morning. Let's move along. Let's have a look at the Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD, we had a trade that was set up over here, these two candles there last week. And this one has actually gone way in our favor. So this is a winning trade. This one is pretty much over. So that is great news from that front. Let me just delete that out now. The one thing I will say about this one is that that triangle was respected. So we're still trading inside this converging triangle. So what that means for us is that I can still continue to look for opportunities in there. So the trend hasn't been broken. And look, I have a marker at the top because if you recall, when the market was over here somewhere, I had placed a marker down the bottom and one at the top, and I didn't care which way it went. So I was trying to do this or I was trying to do this. And consequently, we got the bottom one, which is great. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to shift this guy along and I'm going to look for it over here somewhere. So pretty self-explanatory. I'll just extend this line out a little bit more and I'll extend this one more. Eventually what happens is the market breaks out of this converging area and then that pattern is broken, but it has not happened as yet. So what we're looking for now is for the market to come into here, show me a really nice reversal, say maybe an inside candle or something like that, and then that would be my trigger to become a seller and trade back down into the market. All right, so Euro USD was nice to us. We got a very nice winning trade out of that. Let's see if we can set up another one. All right, let's move along. Let's have a look at the US yen. Okay, US yen. Let me zoom out a little bit first. US yen was the one that we had originally made that big couple of sets of candles which put in a really weird trading zone, and we wanted to break out of that zone. We did break out of that zone, so now what I'm looking for, first of all, let me get rid of these ones because I don't need them anymore. It's clear that we are in an uptrend here, okay, there's no doubt about that. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for pullbacks. So I had placed that marker there just to see if, let me just zoom out a little bit more. I just want to check, excuse me, I just want to check something. Okay, we're in no man's land. Sometimes if you're a little bit on the aggressive side, that there is a reversal pattern, and sometimes you can trade it down a little bit. However, I've missed it. It's already broken down, and it's 2 candles ago, so it happened on Thursday, Friday last week, so I'm going to ignore it. But what I'm looking for is I want the market to come down, dip down somewhere, and then if it shows me that it's reversing, well then that's the trade I want to take. So this is pretty much like the Aussie US dollar I explained just a moment ago, but a little bit more advanced. So this one appears to be on its way down, so we're going into the pullback. So we just got to look for the candle pattern to show me that it has strength to change direction and continue in the direction of the trend. So what I will do, I'm just going to grab this marker and I'm just going to move it over here somewhere. Okay, so let's see what happens. This might happen in the next 2 or 3 candles, so keep an eye out on it, and this would be a trend following type trade. All right, that's the US yen. Let's move along. Let's have a look at the pound US dollar. Okay, another really nice one. We had this set up over here. I've still got it highlighted, and we've traded it down, and it did hit our targets, and then now it has gone backwards. So we're out of this one. It was a winning trade. Now, so let me get rid of this marker and let's reanalyze. Let's zoom out. Start off with. Okay, first question I want to ask myself is, I just want to check these levels. If I was to move this line, for example, I'll just do it and then I'll zoom in. So if I move it, I've lost this contact point over here. I'm no longer, there's an air gap there, so I don't like it. So I'm not going to do that. So I'll just delete that top line out completely. And what am I looking at now? Let me just try and get a line here, see how that looks. Okay, one possibility is look for a trade over here to trade back down. Okay, so and the reason is I'm using this level. I've used a little bit of that level there, and if the market goes towards that region and shows me a sign of reversal, well then it would be a trade that I would be happy to trade back down, and the reason for it is this top resistance line. Okay, so let's put a marker and let's see if we can get something. So I'm looking for it in there somewhere. So we're very, very close. We could get something in the next 2 to 3 candles. Okay, so that's my GBP USD. So just to re-clarify that, I'm using this top resistance level. The market has been there once and been there 2 times and come back down. So if it gets there again and shows me a sign that it is reversing, well then that's my trigger to become a seller, and we would be looking to short. Okay, so let's see what happens on that one. That's GBP USD. Let's move along. Let's have a look at WTI oil. Okay, hang on, there's my marker. What's happening here? Let me zoom out first of all. Okay, really nice top resistance line. The market has been there 1 time, 2 times, and we are there right now. So let's just zoom in, have a closer analysis. Okay, there is these 2 candles here. At quick inspection, looks like an engulfing candle. Let me just double check that. So the low of the red one is, I'm reading off the bottom, down the bottom of my chart, it's 83.25, and the low of this one is 83.22. So it's not quite an engulfing candle, but it's very, very close. I'll leave it up to you guys. If sometimes when it's very close and it looks visually correct and it's on the right levels like this one is, so we've got really nice line, it's visually looking good. The way you would trade this is you pretty much at the open, which is where we are right now, you'd basically become a seller on that, okay? And the trade is you're trading that top resistance line. The market has shown you that it has come up to that resistance level and is showing you that it wants to reverse back down. So that's all the things that I'm looking for. So this would be slightly a little bit more on the aggressive side because it's almost an engulfing candle by like a couple of pips. But visually it looks correct. So I'll leave that one up to you, see what you want to do. I'll leave it marked, so let me just change my market. So I want to mark it, there it is. And let's see how this one plays out for us. Okay, so WTI, we're selling at the moment. All right, gold. What's happening with gold? Okay, I've got that channel on gold, and I've got, so you can see my markers on the perimeter of that channel, top and bottom. So, and it looks like we are approaching the top side. So this is going nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the reversal up there somewhere so that we can get an opportunity to trade it back down the channel. So specifically, it would be nice if we got like an inside candle set like this, and then that would be our trigger to become a seller. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to readjust my marker there so that I remember, and over here I'll just move it along a little bit. So it just reminds me of what I'm specifically looking for in this market. Okay, until I break out of that area, I'm happy to continue to trade back in and back out, inwards towards the center of that channel. Okay. All right, so there you have it. That's my gold analysis for this week. That pretty much wraps up. Again, please take note of the important data releases that are happening this week. The highlight being the RBNZ, New Zealand, interest rates decision happening on Wednesday, and CPI data, inflation data for the US happening on Thursday. Have a great trading week, and I will speak to you next week for the weekly market analysis. Bye for now.